So a little about my time in Kasar Devi. So Kasar Devi was an unplanned stop on my trip, but to be honest, now that I've been well into my trip for 3 months, there have been lots of things that have been unplanned. But I think why it was more surprising to me is because, I had this intention at that time to go to Rishikesh, and I had heard about this place, Kasar Devi. I saw one of the travelers I had met earlier in my trip. I saw that she was there, and something about it just called out to me. So I just thought, I'm going to go with this inspiration, and I'm going to go there. I'll go there first. And I didn't know much about this place, and it turns out that Kasar Devi is actually quite a spiritual place, and it's somewhere that has a special geomagnetic field that is the same. There's only 2 other places in the world that have this. One is Machu Picchu and one is Stonehenge. So they're very sort of special places in the world, and there have been some important spiritual people who spent time there. So Swami Vivekananda spent time there. He meditated there. There's some beautiful temples and stuff there as well. But truthfully, I really didn't know much before I went. I just felt like I had this calling to go there. And funnily enough, when I was there, a bunch of people said to me that, oh, this is a very spiritual place. And, lots of people have the same experience where they just they go there on a whim or something about it. They hear about it and they just kind of go. And to be honest, I didn't really believe too much of that. When I got there, I was like, okay, cool. I do believe in spirituality and all of this, but I do also just think you should have your own experiences. I've been in enough situations where people have said to me, oh, this is really special, this is really spiritual, and then have had almost the opposite experience. Part of my experience in Bali when I went a few years ago was like that, where everyone, really hyped this place up to me, and they said it was so spiritual and so magical. But, I had a very different experience, and my experience with spirituality there was actually just watching the sunset and going to the beach and checking myself into a really luxurious hotel and sitting by the pool for 3 days, because for the 3 months prior to that, I'd just been in hostels and in, sort of 1-star hotels. Not to say there's anything bad with that, but sometimes it's good to have just a bit of luxury and to hang out by the pool and do nothing. But so Kasar Devi, like I said, was, this unexpected place. And my time there was really interesting. I just felt like time would go by slowly but quickly. The nature out there is beautiful. I've never spent so much time in mountains. There were the views of the Himalayas. In the morning, the way the sun would rise and the way the sun would just pour into the sky, the warmth, the golden light of it. It was like a sun that I haven't experienced in other parts of the country or other parts of the world. And what was really cool is as the sun would rise, obviously sunrise would be colorful, then the sun would start coming up, it would get brighter and brighter on one side. And then if you look to the sky on the other side, the sun would be illuminating the Himalayas. So they would be getting brighter and brighter. So on one side, you have the sun coming up, but then almost like the Himalayas revealing themselves from top down. It was a really cool experience. And again, not something I'd really thought that I would enjoy. I'd never thought about spending time in the mountains, and just found a lot of beauty in that. But, I had my own experiences with spirituality while I was there in Kasar Devi, and a lot of them were just synchronicities, things happening, just sort of too many coincidences, I guess, or things just felt like they were lined up in certain ways of the people that I met, and just some of the experiences I had when I went to certain temples. There was one girl that I met while I was there, Indu, and it just felt like we were such similar people. We had such similar experiences, and I feel like it wasn't a coincidence that we met and that we needed to meet each other and have some of the conversations and trade some of the experiences that we had. So I felt very special and blessed to have met her while I was there. I also had some energy clearing sessions, some angelic Reiki done. I don't know if it's angelic Reiki or I don't know all the types of Reiki, but it was a type of Reiki done while I was there. And that was really interesting too. I think it was really nice to spend time connecting with energy. You know, when these Reiki sessions happen, you don't, well, you do feel some stuff. And maybe this is, you know, not maybe the place to go into the depth of all of that, but I will just say that I had some energy clearing sessions, and, you know, it's something that I have some interest in, and I'm glad I had the chance to do it while I was there. And I think one of the most special experiences I had while I was in Kasar Devi, was going to this Jageshwar temple, which is a Shiva temple. And even like me going there was no plan to go there. There were just a series of events that came up where this temple was mentioned. This guy told me a story about it. I was telling Indu about it. Then he shows up again, and it just felt like there was some sign that I needed to go to this temple. And so the two of us went. And when we were there, I don't want to share all of this on a public video. I think, you know, maybe on another time, or if I'm speaking to you personally, I can get into the details. But it just felt like when I was at this temple, this Shiva temple, that, I don't know, there was a special energy. There was something there. You know, even, you know, one example is every time I had a question in my head, somehow that question would be answered. And it would be things I didn't even say out loud. I would just think something. And like one of the pandits at the temple would just say that very thing, or Indu would ask that same question. And yeah, just a bit of magic, which was a really nice thing to experience. And I think the other thing about Kasar Devi just really, I wouldn't say taught, but helped to sort of reinforce into my head that, like, it's okay to just be slow and just be with nature and do less, and that's okay. And another learning, which is a borrowed learning, it's something that someone told me while I was there, is to instead of like be stressing about the future, your next step, like just think about when you feel ready or when you feel done with whatever you're doing at this moment. And I just thought I would share that because it helped give me some resolve. You know, I'm on this trip and I'm planning more organically, and I'm learning that I can only take things one step at a time, even though I'm such a analytical, logical planner, organizer, all of these things. But I'm slowly learning that, you know, sometimes it's okay to just do things one step at a time and figure things out one step at a time, because otherwise you're just thinking and you're being in the future instead of truly just enjoying what's in front of you. So I thought I'd share that little message with you. I hope this resonates with you and is helpful for you. And maybe some other time I'll share more of my experiences about Kasar Devi, but thank you for joining.